It's November 5th, 2021. I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and we have lots of Christmas to bring you today. We have lots of Christmas ideas for you to make that are super easy that we pulled from previous years. We have our holiday gift guide. I've got some sewing progress and some what's new items. So super excited to show you. The first thing we're going to start off with is we went through all of my Christmas quilts that I've made in the past and just came up with things that were doable because it's already November, that you could do them in time for Christmas and have them pieced, quilted, everything. So these are just a couple that we picked. So we're going to start with the Merry Mini Quilt Christmas in July Sew Along from 2019. And I'm going to show it both on the table and behind me. So this one is a completely free pattern. It's from 2019 and we have videos on it, and it's 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is how it looks in front. Now this collection was from Stacy Itsu, a Moda designer. Super cute and super easy and super fun. You could totally get this done in one weekend. You could probably get this done in a night. So super fun. And then the backing, we put like a little collage type print on the back. So that's our first idea. Our second idea is one of my favorite things that I pull out at Christmas. So when the Vintage Christmas book came out, at the time Cozy Christmas was available. It's still available, some of the SKUs. And I made this pillow. I think I even quilted it and put the vintage trim in, and then I did an envelope back. And with this, I used her cute little button jars, just a random assortment, and just put the little buttons on there. So it's kind of textile-y, you know, if you sit there you can kind of play with the buttons, but I love this. And this background is on reorder, just so you know. It's gonna be a couple of months because we always run out of it, just FYI. But I'm excited that I did the quilting on this. And this is Cozy Christmas. And the block is in here. Let's see where the block is. It's right there. The next one, I was inspired a couple of years ago. When Moda showed us the collection, they showed us this pattern, and it has this big panel and all of these log cabin blocks. Now this is a free pattern on Moda's site. So what I did is I made 4 because I didn't have time to make the whole thing. Well, I guess I made 6. 1, 2, 3. I made 5. And then what I did was I took the panel. This was the smaller portion of the panel. And I don't know if it's still available. I think it is, but this was a smaller portion of the panel. And I turned it under. Well, actually, I just used Lori's Pellon sew-in interfacing, the you can't use one that has fusible. But so I did the sew-on interfacing, sewed it on the back, turned it, flipped it, and then I sewed it down by hand. And then this is what it looks like from the front. And I made it super long so it would fit one of my tables. The thing that I think is funny is when I make stuff for a certain spot in my house, I can never remember where I make it for. And then when my kids start putting the decorations out, I'm like, oh, it doesn't fit. Maybe it goes somewhere else. Oh, it doesn't fit. Maybe it goes somewhere else. And they're like, Mom, where does it go? I'm like, I don't know. And then the next one is the hardest one. So this one is brand new, and it's called Faux Feather Star. It uses the Deb Strain Christmas collection. And it does use some of our flying geese and triangle paper. And Jocelyn designed it, Nancy stitched it, and Mike at mylongarm.com quilted it. And this one I would say would be the hardest one. But if you look at it up close, you can use triangle paper here and then flying geese paper here. So it is totally doable. And we did a nice feather, a tight feather quilting on it. So this is the hardest one, I would say. But, you know, if you already have a lot of red and white, you could do scrappy. You could do this all in one color. You could just pick 2 colors. There's a lot you could do with this. And then this is the backing that we used. And then as far as free patterns, because we're always trying to reuse and show you some of our free patterns, this was a quilt we did a couple of years ago called Mini Charming Christmas. It's a shortcut quilt. It uses 2 mini charm packs. And so it's a completely free pattern on fatquartershop.com and our blog. It has a border. And we did a scrappy binding around the edge. And this was from the collection by, let's see, Naughty or Nice by Basic Gray. But the new collection this year called Hustle and Bustle is very similar. So if you wanted something similar, we do have some of that in stock. But this was a couple of years ago. Super cute, super easy. So these are just some ideas if you want to make some cute stuff to decorate your house with. So, if y'all have any questions on any of those quilts, definitely let me know. But can you believe it's almost Christmas? It's now time to look at your gift list and like what you're going to give to all your friends and family for Christmas, or what you're going to ask your husbands for. So I put together some of my favorites, and we're going to unwrap them, and it'll kind of inspire you to see like if you sew with the same things I do. So the first one is pretty big, and what we did is we made a fun way to put all of my triangles on a roll in here. So we've got triangles on a roll master set, and then we have our square and a square set and our flying geese set. And then of course the clapper. So if you haven't tried the clapper, I would definitely try it. I think you're gonna get really nice results. Yesterday I was able to finish my swirling stars. We could actually show it at the end. But I wouldn't have been able to do that without the clapper. So this would be a cute little gift and cute little bow. So those are like my foundation paper piecing, which it's like a must-have in my sewing room. And then this is the small set. So if you wanted, we had some people ask for a set that's a small set, so we also have these. They just didn't fit in here. And then this is kind of my essentials. So these are things that just a normal quilter would want. So we picked the Stitch collection. Usually we pick one collection to feature in our holiday gift guide each year. This year we picked Stitch because the colors can be modern or traditional. And then we picked the Sew Day Needle Minder because it's so cute. And you can put these on, I've been putting them on Lori's book stands just for decoration. And then the Little House pins, I started using these this year and I've had a lot of really great results with them. So these are my new favorite pins, and I'm excited because now I have something in stock that I can actually buy. We picked this book because I love half square triangles and flying geese. It is the Kaleidoscope book by Lori Holt, and in here we show you how to do this quilt, the several quilts in it, traditionally or with our paper I just showed you. And then the quilting journal. So I'm gonna actually show you at the end of the show kind of my 2022 plans, and so you're going to be able to see how I actually use this, but it is definitely like a must-have for me to stay organized. So those are my essentials. And then these are kind of some newer things that came this year that we were able to add compared to last year. So this is an older product called Acorn Precision Piecing Glue, and so many people had emailed me about it, and I tried it and I love it. So I've been using it for corner squares only, but I have had really great results and kind of sad that I waited so long to try them out. And then these, oh my gosh, I use these all the time. These, they look super, like they're very lightweight. But if you put these on your sewing machine, it's going to save you time using these, because you can cut your thread, and they're much, like at first you think, oh yeah, whatever. But if you use them, you will love them. And then this new mat has been great. It is called Vintage Strawberry Mini Cutting Mat, and it's been great to put on my mat to trim down my flying geese or my half square triangles. And then, because sometimes I'll put a smaller mat on top of my bigger mat so that I don't have to replace my bigger mat, because the bigger mat's more expensive. So I've been using this to trim down, and it has two sides. And then this was my favorite bag that we came out with this year. It's so cute. And then we do have something coming next year with something like this that you might love. Wouldn't it be great if your husband just watched the video and then wrapped everything the same? That would be awesome. And then here, these are things that I do to have kind of precision. So these are two newer rulers that came out this year. They are the seam guides from Creative Grids. One is 9 inches and one is 15 inches. And I like them for drawing my lines for corner squares. Since I use triangle paper, I don't use them for half square triangles, but I do use these a lot. And to be honest, I use the smaller one. The bigger one seems to be a little too big for me. This is my favorite rotary cutter. It's blue, it's ergonomic. I can't wait till somebody comes out with another color of this. And then this is not a new ruler, but it's a new ruler to me, and I've been using it a lot. It's a 2.5 by 12.5 inch ruler, and it's been great to have since it's not so bulky. So those are some newer things this year. I mean, this is not newer, but it's definitely like a must-have in my sewing room. And then we have the brand new planner for 2022 by Lori Holt. It is so awesome. I'm so excited about it. I love it so much. And I'm going to talk about it at the end of the show. I'm going to show you my planner and how I have this all planned out. And this is not, you don't have to use this just for a quilter. It's just fun colors. So even if you have a teenager or someone in college, very great colors, and it's not limited to sewing or quilting. And I am going to show you how I use it. And then Stella Lighting came out with this new light. So I'm going to show it to you on the front camera. It's not plugged in and it's not charged, but this is a charging base. So you can put your phone like this and it'll charge. And then you can take this base with you, put this on, and then your light always stays charged. So I'm going to buy it just for this. And we're going to sell this separately. It's just not available quite yet. The set is available, but we're just waiting on the single to arrive. So let me know what questions you guys have. I want to thank Valeria Bauer. She says I make her day so happy. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you. And then Vivian says I'm amazing. Oh, thank you. Today is my youngest son's birthday. He's 11. So I'm very excited about that. He's so funny. I asked him where he wanted to go for his birthday, and he picked P.F. Chang's, which is like a clear hour and a half from our house. So I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna get home in time to do that. But he doesn't even like Chinese food. So I'm like, why did you pick that place? But I think he picked it because his brother picked it. Okay, and I'm going to answer any questions you have on any of those patterns. Like, I have the patterns here so I can look at them and tell you what pre-cuts they use if you have any of those questions. All the cute boxes we got at Hobby Lobby and Walmart. Designer Mystery 2022 will be out beginning of January. So we're actually sewing it about now. It is a future group that you haven't seen. So the fabric will show to stores in December, so we'll probably release it in January. Did you use the square and a square on the feathered star? I 2x4 Flying Geese and the H200 is what we used. Let me look at the center of it. I'm going to look at the center and see. I didn't make that one, so I don't remember. The tree pillow is about 14 inches, maybe. Let me look. Oh, here. I bet you could use it. Let me measure it. We have 4-inch square and a square paper, right? Yeah, you can use 4-inch square and a square paper for here. And then the pillow, I think it's a 6-inch block. Yes, a 6-inch block, so it's about 11 inches. And I probably put a 10-inch pillow on the inside because I like my pillows to be super fluffy, because my kids like to sit on them because they think that's hilarious, to sit on the things. So they flatten. So I always start with kind of a bigger. Suzanne said, I love seeing you and Lori Holt together. When will you do another video with Lori? Soon. It's not going to be in person though. I love watching you on Fridays. You're the highlight of my day also. Oh my gosh, y'all are way too nice to me. Where did I get my shirt? Walmart! Any idea when the Lori Holt zipper and project panel and crochet bag panel will be in stock? They're there 1 minute and I don't understand why they're gone the next. Could you explain? Yes. So I had a ton of those. A ton. Like enough to where I thought I ordered enough for 3 months and they sold out. She did a video, and once she did the video, they just sold out. So I asked Riley Blake to air that in, and it was too expensive because shipping is just insane right now. So they said March. So if it comes in before, hopefully it'll come in a little bit before March. But when we order, we try to order to have enough in stock. It's just sometimes things sell faster than we predict. We've never had a bag panel before, so we, I thought having the amount we had was plenty. So we just sometimes don't predict correctly. Quick question on starching honey buns. They will shrink lengthwise, not widthwise. Correct. Linda said, what do you charge if someone wants to buy this mini Mary quilt? I made one and have no idea what to charge for a friend who wants it. Oh, I think that's all personal preference. I don't ever sell my stuff, really, so I don't know. I would definitely charge like by the hour, all the fabric. I don't know. Oh, and I'm excited. Denise is making the Mary Mini this weekend, so that's awesome. So now I'm going to move and talk about the planner, and I'm going to be talking here and giving hints to different things that I'm going to be working on in 2022 for quilting. So first I'm going to start with, I'm kind of a super planner. I plan a little bit too much. So not only do I have my planner, I have my journal, and I'm going to show you how they work together. And I did use the Be Creative sticker book for some of the stickers. So if you see stickers in here or these stickers, that's where they came from. So I usually would have put my phone number. It's got a calendar. And then here, what I'm doing at the very beginning is I'm putting what I should be finished with that month. But since it's January, I don't have anything that I'm going to finish in January. And then this is the end of December, which I'm usually not at work that week. And here what I do is I put each of my videos. So I've got a cross stitch video, a cross stitch video, and a quilting video. And then this video is going to be a overhaul of what we did last year, so I don't have anything there to do. But basically what I have here is listed for next year. I need to have block 1 of Sherry's free block of the month. I put Emma's dance, sales rep meetings, brick house. That's going to be that is the name of our 2022 scrap quilt. So that's kind of a tease. And then we're going to work on Stronger Together. That's going to be 4 blocks. And we're going to start selling that in December and then release it, kind of launch it in January. And then what I do from here, like if there's not a live stream, I kind of put the date, there's no live stream. So I put on here what I need to have done for the live stream that day and any meetings I have. And then anything for my kids on the weekend. I put birthdays over here. I just put birthdays here. I don't put them within. But I try to make them match. So I went through and figured out what I'm going to start for 2022. Now for 2021, I finished my Swirling Stars. I'm going to show it to you in a little bit. I finished that yesterday. By the end of 2021, my goal is to have the dinosaur quilt done, the Harry Potter quilt, the Pat Sloan Summer Soiree done, the Sherry McConnell BOM done, and then there's one more that I can't think of, but I've got 5 more quilts to finish. And so my goal is December 31st to just start fresh and new stuff. So obviously you've seen the Heartfelt Charity. We're going to be working on that. Corey Yoder is the designer. It's going to benefit Make-A-Wish, and we've already raised almost $8,000, so that is so exciting. That makes my weekend. Brick House is going to be our scrappy free quilt, and it's going to have 16 blocks. And what I do is I write the name of our blocks, and then after I'm done, I check it off. Because if I leave, like for example, I didn't quilt for 2 months because of my eye surgery. First time I stitched was the last couple of days. So then if I go back, I know exactly where I'm at. And then I do write for my fabric collections. Sherry McConnell always does a free block of the month, and it's usually 12 blocks. So that's as much as I know. So I've just filled in what I know. Stronger Together is going to be a collaboration with Charisse Spain, to where we raise money for UNCF, and I'm also going to auction off my quilt that I make. And then I've already picked my fabrics. I try to put on here anytime I have my fabrics so that I can remember what I'm using or what I did use, and then if I change it, I'll change it out. And obviously I haven't picked my backing, and I'll put a little check mark when I'm done with them. And then Flea Market Baskets is going to be a sew along, and I'm going to do, that's a big quilt. I'm going to just do the baskets. I'm going to do a tutorial on our channel on how to use triangle paper and foundation paper to make those go a little bit easier. And then I'm going to set it in a different setting. So I'm just doing the basket portion. And then Chicken Salad is a pre-sold quilt using the cookbook collection, and that is going to have 12 applique blocks, but Lori is going to provide a list to me of pieced blocks, and she's going to provide it to you guys too later, and I'm going to sew along with pieced blocks. So if you have any questions on how I use my planner or anything, let me know. And I did forget, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we're 90% sold of our Jolly Box. So the Jolly Box is online. I think by Monday it's going to be gone. So just order the Jolly Box if you're interested. Now, I try not to give any teasers on what's in the box because people get really upset if I say anything like tease it. So I can't give you any hints. I know you guys are going to ask, but I don't want anybody to get upset with me, so I have to be really quiet and not say what's in it. I love it though. I bought one. But we are 90% sold through. So if you want it, I would just say get it now. I'm going to answer a couple of questions and then show you some fun like quilt blocks and stuff that I know you guys are going to be inspired by. Sharon is asking, do I ship products to Europe? I recently moved to Poland and I miss your products. Yes, we do. And there's some bigger items that we can no longer ship overseas because shipping requirements have changed and shipping costs have changed, but there are notes on the side if we cannot ship them internationally. How can I adjust the Layla Boutique Christmas morning for a king size bed? Okay, so there's a couple ways you can expand a quilt. You could make more blocks, more rows, and more columns. You could make sashing thicker. You could add a third border. You could thicken your borders. So I would say just kind of draw out what you have and then draw out what you think it could be and then just do the math by hand. And that's how I always do it, is I just sit with pencil and paper and just try to visualize it. That's the way that I would kind of attempt that. Are you going to have a new Christmas quilt free pattern like the snowflake and Christmas tree quilts? Yes, so each year we do a Christmas sew along, and we did ours this year, and we didn't show that one since we showed it this year, but we always have a free Christmas pattern, and then we always have a free Halloween pattern, and those will release in 2022 for in like the summer when the fabric releases. And so this year they released a little bit late because the fabric was late, but you can always find those on our website, our blog, and YouTube. And then Twyla says she always looks forward to my videos. So thank you. Oh my gosh, y'all are so nice to me. So now I'm going to show you So Happy because we finished this up. And since I wasn't here last week, I wasn't able to show you. So Happy is a collaboration with Lori Holt. And you need the Spelling Bee book. And it gives you all of these blocks, except this one is free. And then here is the table runner. I cannot wait to take this home. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find a wall to put it on, but I'm going to try. So this is all quilted. I had Gina add the rickrack for me because she's so nice. She does that for me. And then this is the pantograph that I did. That's it's like little circles with pie pieces. And you might be able to see it on the back a little bit better. So that one was really fun. I love anything that's sewing related. And when she was working on doing this, she also came up with a cross stitch. So this is a paid cross stitch pattern that we sell. It coordinates. And she did the same thing where she tied the rickrack. Now Lori finished this one for us. And we are going to do a video. We're going to do a blog post on how Lori did this. We're going to recreate what Lori did, give her credit, and then just show how you put this on this, how you use the sticky board, because I did see that a lot of quilters got back into cross stitch with this specific pattern, and because of that y'all might not know how to finish where you don't have to take it to a framer. So we're gonna do that on a blog post in the future. And then last week I showed how to put the buttons on the quilt, and the little cross stitch also has buttons. Is the faux feathered star pattern available separately from the kit? Yes. Yes, it is. And then we're going to show you now, Sherry McConnell has been doing a sew along for breast cancer called Sincerely Yours Stitch Pink Sew Along. So I'm going to show you the blocks. And the pattern that she's working with is called Together. It's designed by Sherry McConnell, who was a guest on our live stream recently. So y'all got to meet her. And we had a quilty staffer sew along with these. Teresa sewed them, and I was going to sew these, and because I love this quilt so much, but I wasn't able to because of my eye surgery. So I'm going to show you the blocks. Now there are 4 videos, and I think the 5th one might have came out today, on Sherry McConnell's YouTube channel, and she gives hints on how to make these blocks. And I'm going to go in order of the blocks. So this is like block 1. I'm going to go in order of the blocks so you can see how pretty they are. We do have some kits left. And one thing that she did really fun on her last video is she showed a little wall hanging. So if you don't have time to make the whole quilt, she has a little wall hanging that she came up with. Now you still need the pattern for the block patterns, but then you just adapt it to make the wall hanging. So those are the first blocks. I just love this. I'm so sad that I wasn't able to make this. But I did get a quilt done yesterday, so I'm excited. My goal is to really wrap up 2021 strong and get a lot of stuff done. So I'm going to work on the dinosaur quilt starting tomorrow. I'm about halfway done, so these are the setting blocks that create the sashing kind of look. And there's a lot of these. But I love these blocks. Oh my gosh. And this is a great beginner quilt. And there's even more. And then 9 patches, which are super easy. And you can either press open or press to one side. And you can see our sample maker did part of them open, part of them to one side. So you can always do that. You don't have to. And then here are the sashing. And then the remaining heart blocks. So if you haven't grabbed this kit, I would grab it before they're gone. And we did donate $7,000 to breast cancer awareness, along with By Annie for a separate event. So for you guys asking about that, we did donate. And this is the kit. And I mean, maybe I have time to do the wall hanging, but it's so cute. And you can see that the sample maker, Teresa, she's a great sewer, and you can mix and match, pressing open, pressing to one side, and you don't have to, you just do it however you want. Because if I made this, I have no idea how I would have pressed. I probably would have had to think about it. So if y'all have any questions on this, let me know. The blocks are 8 inches finished, which is kind of fun because it's not 6, it's not 12, which is your traditional sizes. And I'm going to show you how all the blocks look together. Look, I just cheated and grabbed all those. Oh, and then this is how she pressed these. And I'll show you, I'm going to show you one thing with this block. Okay. So we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to show you the difference between pressing open and pressing to one side. Now, when your quilt is quilted, you will never see this, and you will never know the difference. I'm just showing you this so that you can see the difference in the block. You can tell this is pressed to one side because you can see the bump. You can tell this is pressed open because you don't see a bump. So there is a difference, but when that's quilted in, you won't see the difference. So like right here, you can tell this is pressed open and then this one is pressed to one side. So from the front, if you're like some kind of crazy expert, you can see the difference. But to me, when you quilt it, you will never know the difference. So that's just one little thing to show you. And she used a white thread that was a little bit wider than the one I usually use because of the white background. So when you're sewing, it's always great to go with a thread that's lighter rather than darker. The lighter is less likely to show up than the darker. And if you have any questions on this quilt, let me know. Oh, and then there's these. So now she's gonna put it all together. And one thing you could do, so like when you were asking about the king size quilt, if you're looking at a quilt like this, you could always add rows this way, columns down. You could also add 3 borders, an inner, a middle, an outer. Or you could just do a thicker outer border. Now, if you go back and look at quilts from like the early 2000s, I swear every design had an inner border and an outer border. Now the trend is to have one skinny border. So it took me a while to adjust to that. But if you go back and look at quilts in your stash, I bet you're going to see that now stuff has like one border, whereas before it used to have like a ton of borders. And then Crafting a Plan Life is asking about the chicken salad. So on that, you just buy the same kit, and she is going to buy the kit from us, and she's going to make sure that the fabric is, you can use the fabric from the same kit to do it. And she doesn't have all that information yet, so just be patient. I haven't even started making it. That was just my plan for 2022, because I do try to plan out, like, I plan day to day. This is like a motto in my life, and it's really bothers my kids, but I plan everything day to day. I plan for the future, but when I'm thinking about this week, I'm not thinking about Nutcracker when my daughter needs to be at Nutcracker tomorrow. I'll worry about that in the morning. But it drives my daughter crazy because she's like, I need to know what time. And I'm like, well, you're 14. You can figure it out. I plan the day after the day before. So I literally go day to day to day to day. But because I have my planner, I just go to my planner and I look, okay, what do I need to do for that day? And that's how I get so much done, is by just being very planning. What is the name of the tonal polka dot? So it is from Sincerely Yours collection, and if you just type Sincerely Yours, you'll see it, and it is part of that collection. Is there enough fabric in the heart quilt to starch? Yes, because we cut that. How freaky do you need to be about threads on the back of your quilt top? I feel like I'm driving myself clipping threads, as I'm afraid they'll show when quilted. I don't think you have to be too crazy. What I would say is, I'll show you one thing that I would be careful with. So when you're looking, I don't think it matters about the clipping of the threads. Now, I clip my threads like crazy, just like Teresa does. What you want to be sure of, she's going to kill me. When you go like this, you do not want to see those threads. So I can't see her threads because she's stitched with a short enough stitch length. And when you go this way, you don't want to be able to see the threads. So as long as you can't see the threads in your seam, you should be fine. And now I'm going to show you some more sewing that I got done. This is a Quilting Life Block of the Month. Now every year Sherry McConnell does a free Block of the Month pattern. And it's on her blog, and now it's on her YouTube channel. And this is October's, and I was able to get this one done this week. I used H100 as my half square triangles, and then what I did here is I cut my strips. They're supposed to be 2 inches. I cut them like 2 1/4, and I didn't even trim them down. I just cut some strips. I added them, and then on this I put a CGR 6 ruler trimmed around. When I got here, I put a CGR 9 ruler trimmed around. And then when I got here, I put a CGR 12 ruler. So 6, 9, 12, and that was all in the instructions in terms of what size it was supposed to be. And that's how I got this block to be exactly 12 inches, which I can tell you this one won't be. Oh, it's pretty close though. So I'm going to show you my blocks from January to October. Her November block is coming out November 11th, and it's coming out a little bit later because she's doing the stitch pink sew along. And what I'm going to do, and I'm going to let you guys comment and let me know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a setting from one of Lori Holt's books that uses 12-inch blocks. She also gives instructions for 6 inches, but see if y'all have a setting to recommend for me. So these are just the different blocks. And this is the one that I think I should have pressed open, and you can see from the front how it's not pressed open. You can totally tell. I can totally see that. It's very bumpy. Now when it gets quilted, nobody will know. How do you get the block edges so perfect without hanging, unraveling threads? Mine is always messy. I use scissors and clip a lot, but when I'm done with my block, no matter what size it is, I trim it with a Creative Grids ruler on the side. And these that are older have thread coming off, and that's because they've been through photography and people have been touching them. But when my blocks are done, like this one, I just trim them. This is probably my favorite one. And this right here is the Flea Market collection by Lori Holt. All of this is. And I had decided at the beginning of the year to do at least have a little bit of brown in each block. So when I lay out these quilts, I'll have to make sure that the ones that have just a little bit of brown like this are intermixed with the ones that have more brown that spread out more, because some is on the outside and some is on the inside. So I'll have to really be careful when I do that. So you guys let me know what setting you think I should put this in. I am going to, once I get the November block from her, I'll probably go ahead and start putting it into a setting so that, you know, so that I'm able to finish it by the end of the year. And Pat is asking, do I pretty much make 6-inch blocks? It kind of depends. So I love to make 6-inch blocks. All of the sampler spree blocks are 6 inches. Oh, that's the other one I'm going to finish by the end of the year. Those are 6 inches, so those are fun. I love 6-inch. And last year with Sherry's Block of the Month, I did the 6-inch size. So this year when I picked the collection, I thought that Flea Market had some bigger prints and that would look a lot better in 12-inch blocks. So that's why I did 12-inch this year. Now next year, I'll probably go back to 6-inch. So, because I try to sew to give you guys ideas, and I'm obviously no expert. I just kind of show you what I do at home. But I've got 5 quilts left to make, and I'm so excited. Let me show you the one that I made yesterday. That'll be a perfect transition so that you guys can see what I was able to make yesterday. I'm going to move my coffee. Okay. It's ginormous. Okay. It's ginormous. Okay, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put it on the table and pull it. Okay, and then we'll look from the front. So this quilt is a free pattern called Swirling Stars. The front. And what it is a combination of 6-inch blocks and 12-inch blocks. And I'm going to show you in detail now what I did. So I used triangle paper for the large and the small. And my goal on this was to use every fabric once, except for the backgrounds. So this is Flea Market. This is Stitch. This is Joanna's Halloween fabric. This is Joanna's, I think it's, let's see if we can guess all these fabrics. So this one right here is Be Basics, Christmas Morning, Corey Yoder's Springbrook Blossoms, Lori Holt's Prim, Springbrook Blossoms. So between these 2 blocks, there should be I should have no duplication of fabrics except for the background. This is American Gatherings, and I did put this one kind of on the edge because it was strong, and I had a lot more fabric that I could have made more with it, but I felt like this fabric was so strong compared to the rest. I only did 1 block. This is Bonnie and Camille's fabric, Shine On, and I'm guessing on these fabrics. Figs and Shirtings, Be Basics, Fig Tree something. This is Bonnie and Camille. This is Prim by Lori. Okay. This is Cozy Up by Corey Yoder. Okay, now here, this is the very center of the quilt. And I did this one yesterday, and this is a label from Sweetwater that I put in. Now, I probably should have put that here, but my label's going to go on the front on this one. So this is Flea Market, I think. And then this one is Love Notes from Vanessa Gertson. And then this, so like I can tell what collections these were from. Like I made the book cover quilt, so that's the leftovers from that. This is Christmas. It is coming out soon. Beautiful Day, Corey Yoder. This is Stitch by Lori Holt. Okay, this one was fun. This one was Flea Market. I used the little panel on the outside. And when I cut, I just kind of made sure that these are the little cut lines on the panel. So I just was really careful so that, and I think it probably would look better if I would have done a second panel here, but I was trying to get each fabric in there once. And then this is also Flea Market. A Beautiful Day, Stitch, Cozy Up, and Love Notes. So from this, I'm going to show you the back also. It's a hot mess is what this is. Okay. So this took me all year, and I pressed everything open. And you can see it's not perfect. Like here, this probably needs to be pressed down a little bit before Gina quilts it. But I'm going to send this to Gina, and I'm using a 108-inch wide fabric from Lori Holt from Flea Market. Yeah, can you grab it? I'm going to show you the fabric I'm going to use. So what I decided yesterday, because I've got to get the 5 quilts done and I'm kind of on a tight turnaround, is I decided to put the label on the front so I wouldn't have to piece the backing, because the front is already so scrappy. I don't want to have to worry about the back. So I'm going to put a 108-inch on the back. This I kind of put towards the center, and I'm going to use a red binding by Lori Holt. And some of the backgrounds I used were busier than others, and some of the backgrounds are used multiple times in different blocks, and I did mix designers with different backgrounds. My goal with this quilt is to use up the leftover fabrics that are scrappy. So this is going to be my backing, and this is going to be my binding. And I kind of figured they kind of all kind of match. And you'll notice this is much creamer than this, but the whole goal of this is just to be totally scrappy. So I'm excited, and I'm excited this one's done, because now I only have 5 left. Lori said she loves that I used her panel. So cute and clever. Yeah, I wish I would have used a second one, but I really wanted to use that farm kitchen print somehow. So I did. I always spot Vanessa. She's my favorite. When will Love Note ship? I have no idea off the top of my head. What is in your coffee cup? Oh, hold on. Let me grab it. Somebody bought it for me today. They're so nice. It's hot chocolate with peppermint, which I would have never ordered. So they like to make me experiment with things, and so they made me try pumpkin spice latte, which I thought was disgusting. But they got me a hot chocolate with peppermint. It's so good, and I don't like peppermint. Like, I don't like peppermint candy. I won't eat it, but this is good, so I might be addicted. You could probably get the skinny version and then add the peppermint. Are there any general rules you could give me for making smaller blocks or 6-inch from a 12-inch pattern? I think that comes with experience, but what I would do is just maybe hand write out, like on the left column, the 12-inch cutting size. And then on the right side, guess your 6-inch, do your math, make sure it works, and then just cut from that. So I would do a lot of writing. The Lori Holt zipper bag panels and zippers will be back in stock in March. I use a size 80/20 Schmetz needle, and I do a super skinny stitch length, like a 1.5 on all my quilts. Yes, and so all those are all fabrics from 2021. So it's called Swirling Stars. It's a free pattern. I think it's free. Yeah, it's a free pattern, and it's a way to just use up your scraps. And so we do that every year. And then next year, our scrappy quilt is going to be called Brick House. And so it's obviously going to be houses, but it's going to be strips of houses. So that's going to be fun. Chris asks, is there a reason you're not wanting to use the finishing setting that Sherry will release? Oh, the reason why is she's going to show you that on her channel. So I want you to have a reason to watch me. So I want to always be coming up with different things and show you something totally different so that you have a reason to watch me. That's why. Will the charity for 2022 be layer cake friendly or fat quarter friendly? Fabric requirements will come out with, I think, $10,000 once we've raised $10,000. It's not layer cake friendly, though, I can tell you that. I am sewing my swirly stars now. I love the pattern. Any clue for the 2022? Yes, it's going to be strippy houses. On your finished list for 2022, Harry Potter, more information about this. Okay, so about 3 years ago, I started a Bella Solid Harry Potter quilt. It's a free pattern on Seriously, I Think I Need Stitches blog. And I started making it when my kid was like 7. He's like 12 now. I mean, I started it so long ago, and I don't love working with solids. That's not a secret. I just don't love it. And so I got bored with it. I've never watched one Harry Potter thing. I don't understand any of that. I don't watch anything fiction. Like, anything. Like, we went to Universal Studios. My husband, like, he doesn't watch this stuff either, but he at least knew who the people were. Like, he at least, like, looked up so he could be, like, the cool parent. I was like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. So I got bored making it because I'm not into Harry Potter. I don't understand any of that stuff. I only watch, like, biographies, true crime. It has to be, like, a real story, like Dateline 2020. Can't get enough of Dateline 2020. My most famous picture I have, maybe I can show you one day, is me and Keith from Dateline. Oh my gosh. He's gorgeous. He's like so nice too, but his voice, you know, when you hear someone on TV, he's got that famous voice, and there's lots of memes about his famous voice. His voice is the same in person. You would think it would be a little bit different, but it's not. Let's see. Cindy, one of the big blocks on the Shine On quilt came out too big. I worked on it now, but I think there's a pucker. Do you think this will quilt out? No, I don't think a pucker will quilt out. So let me see a block and I'll show you how to take a pucker out. I'm going to show you on just a random block because I did take a pucker out yesterday. Okay. So this is just a random block. Let's pretend there's a pucker right here or right here. Because say you pinned here, here, and here, and you get a pucker. What I would do, say the pucker's here, I would pull stitches from here to here, pull all your threads out, pin it, and I would pull. Like I would put this under your fabric and pull. And just stitch and try to get the pucker out. I would try to, and then kind of, you'd have to move some of your fabric back, and I'd kind of fudge it, but that will not quilt out. Would you add a label to a baby quilt? I always add labels, but on the fence. Yes, I would. When you talk about settings, what do you mean different settings? I look at the Lori Holt books, but I don't see different settings. So I'll show you in her spelling bee book because I have one here. And it has nothing to do with, like, I haven't even seen Sherry's settings, so I don't even know what it looks like. I'm just always trying to take designer stuff and change it around, and they know I do that. There's no... So, like, this is a setting. Let me see that other book. Let me see. Okay, this is a setting. So it's, you know, 4 by 5, so that's 20 blocks. And these, it would make, I could do this setting right here. I'd just have to change it to 3 by 4. But this is a setting with these sashings. This is a setting where you put the blocks in. This is a setting where there's 6-inch, 12-inch. And then this is a setting. So that's what I mean about settings, but that actually looks pretty good. I could do this. That would look really good, I think. So, yeah, that's what I mean, is just put it in something else because I always want to do stuff different. That's just me. And then I wanted to let you know our basics of the month. This month, our Laundry Basket Quilts Favorites. Laundry Basket Favorites is our 20% off. So this is the pre-cut we have the most left of. Some of the pre-cuts that sold out we're not going to restock because the manufacturer doesn't have them. But this is 20% off this month. Our Just Another Button companies are 30% off. So fun buttons. Funny story is I was working on a cross stitch and I lost my button, and so I had to switch to a different button. So these are 20% off. The buttons, 30%. Elizabeth Hartman for this month, 30% off. And this is the dinosaur quilt I'm finishing. So I have all the plants done and I have this big dinosaur done. I have 3 more dinosaurs to go. And then we have 3 Jolly Bar books that are also 30% off. Where do you put a label on a table runner? Okay, let me see my table runner and I'll show you. I don't have one on there though. My little swell Christmas. I don't, that's not mine. Let's see. So I don't think I put one on here. But I would have probably put it right here. And I probably would have, or in the center. Sometimes I don't. If I'm in a huge hurry, I don't. And I remember exactly where, I remember Emma was at one of her friends' houses and I had to hurry and pick her up. But I mean, if I'm in a hurry, I won't. But I do try to put the labels on. Will there be a coloring sheet for Heartfelt? I don't know. Ashley, can you answer that? I don't know. Do you have tips for sewing with linen fabric? You know, I say that you should watch your tension and your feed dog height because that fabric is thicker, so you might want to lower your feed dogs a little bit for your tension. Kimberly, that's the setting I was going to suggest. Okay, good. Now I got to remember what book it was in. I think it's in Spelling Bee, so that would be good. What designer fabrics can match Corey Yoder colors? Sometimes Sherry and Chelsea fabrics sometimes match. Is it possible that I receive a Jolly box through UPS? These days shipping is crazy. I want to receive it this year. My shipping is international. Email Kathy, CATHY @FatQuarterShop.com and ask her. I actually don't know the answer to that. So now I'm going to show you, now that was super fun and I'm like back in the swing of being able to sew for my eye surgery, I'm going to show you some fun pictures of my kids and then I'm going to show you some new quilts. So I'll show you kind of like a little update. Somebody said I hadn't given an update. So my son Will is in he's got the red hair. So the second row, the second to the left. So he did a little concert and that was fun. They played Baby Shark. And that was pretty fun. So he's doing band. That's Emma last weekend and she's right in the middle. So she won, let's see, what did she win? Her team got the high score overall and then she got 9th place and then she got scholarship finalist and she was very happy. And let me tell you about those lights right there. Those lights drove me crazy and my eyes started leaking and I didn't have my steroid drops and I was a hot mess when I got back in town. Those lights were legit way too bright for me. And then the next photo, that was right after that, right literally 2 hours after. These are my boys. So she ended her dance convention on Halloween like at 4 o'clock and then we came home and this was in our neighborhood. Somebody had this up. So Pajan was a marshmallow. Christopher was a something. I don't know what that is. And then Will was a ninja. And all those are recycled costumes from last year because Kevin, he tried to get costumes the night before. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't really work in real life. So those are some updates of my kids. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some quilts that are new because I haven't shown you these in a while. This is called Scrap and Stance. And then I'm going to put it on the table and let you see it up close. So this is flannel. And I don't have experience working with flannel, so I'm not able to answer many questions. This is a Kim Deal quilt, and Kevin really wanted to do this quilt because he wanted to offer something flannel. It was made and quilted by Linda Parillo. And she works with Kim Deal, and so that's what she used for the back. So we have a quilt kit of that, and this is one of the rare times that we have a flannel quilt, so I wanted to make sure to show you. And with this, she did a very big stippling. I think that's what that's called. This next quilt is called Halloween Night. It uses a jolly bar. This is Midnight Magic 2 fabric. Angel designed it and sewed it, and then Mike at mylongarm.com quilted it. And this fabric was delayed from Moda. It is a Halloween collection. It did come after Halloween. So just kind of pointing that out, but I think it will still sell. This was this designer's fabric, this is her best-selling fabric, was Midnight Magic 1. And I'll show you the back so you can see the quilting. This next quilt is also a Jolly Bar quilt. The fabric is Belle Isle by Minnick & Simpson. And I'll show you the quilting. This is called River Stars. It uses 2 Jolly Bars. It was also designed by Angel. So Angel designs all of our Jolly Bar quilts. Terry stitched it, and Gina Tell at Thread Graffiti quilted it. So the blocks are bigger, so you can see the pantograph is bigger. And this one's pretty easy. So you can kind of see the stars. This one is called Postage Stamp Journey. It uses that same fabric collection by Minnick & Simpson called Belle Isle. This is a classic and vintage quilt, so there's a free block pattern and a low-priced paid pattern if you want to turn it into a quilt. So that is a paid pattern for the settings. Crystal designed it, Teresa stitched it, and Gina Tell of Thread Graffiti quilted it. And I'll show it to you so you can see the quilting. And then this is the backing. So it's really pretty. And this is a great beginner quilt. This one is called Whirlwind. It is using a Jolly Bar, so it's designed by Angel. Kenna made it, and Gina of Thread Graffiti quilted it. And this is Anila Huey's collection. And she was a designer years and years ago with Moda, and so now she's back. And I love this collection because it's got the pins, the scissors. I really want to make, for my chair at home, I want to make a, like a little pad that goes over the arm of your chair to hold scissors and stuff. And I want to make it out of this. I just have to, it's one of those things where it's like I want to do it, so I have to reward myself by finishing the 5 quilts that I already started to be able to commit to that. But that's what I really want to do with this collection, is do that. Okay, this quilt's rather big. This is called Whirlwind. This is an It's So Emma pattern, so you can buy it as paper or PDF. The fabric collection is called Petal Power by me and my sister. Jocelyn designed it, Teresa stitched it, and Gina quilted it. And I want to show you this up close because it's so pretty. So years and years and years ago, they had a collection called Petal Power. And so this is very reminiscent of that, which was like 10 years ago. But this one is called, wait, okay, Petal Power is this one. Petal Pushers was like 10 years ago. So this has sold really good. And I will tell you, some of the bolts are already sold out. And the backing is there. This next quilt is called Embark. It's an It's So Emma kit. It also uses Belle Isle by Minnick & Simpson. Sarah designed it and made it, and Gina of Thread Graffiti quilted it. And I want to show you and talk about the quilting. So, one thing when I am looking at a long arm quilter or how I want my quilt quilted, I do not like the thread to show up, and my quilters know that. So if this came back with like a bright white thread, that would drive me crazy. So Gina picked a thread that worked with the front, all the colors, so like the red, the white, the blue, the red. Picking a color that blends in is always great. And there are some threads that long arm quilters use. Of course, I don't know much about it, but that can blend in. And the next two quilts are from our clubs. So I just wanted to show you so you can kind of see what, if you're in the club, you would get. This is the K Facet Club. It's a bundle of fat quarters. I'll just talk when I put it on the table. How about that? Okay. Since y'all can't hear me. Okay, so on this one, this is from our August CAFE Collective Quarterly Club. The design is called Fractals. Crystal designs all of the CAFE patterns. Sue made it, and Mike at mylongarm.com quilted it. And this one, I believe you get 20 fat quarters. And if you want to buy the fat quarter bundle that went with this, you can buy it. It's called August 2021 CAFE Collective. Or you can sign up for the club, and each quarter get 20 fat quarters. And the backing is wild. So y'all can tell I didn't make this one. This is crazy, crazy wild. You'll say I don't show modern, so there's your modern for the quarter. That's my quarter, but that's my allotment for wild. This next one is also AGF Club. Okay. This is the October Club. So this is the mirror image quilt. It's designed by Angel. Carrie made it, and Gina Tell quilted it. And I think Carrie has washed it. So there's that. Oh, let me show you the backing. So this is I believe a flannel. And then I'm going to show you a couple of new items that have come in. So these are new tins by Lori Holt. This is called My Happy Place Be Organized Project Tins. These came in right after the last live stream I did. And you could put your projects in here. You could put 12-inch blocks in here. Her panels and zippers will be back in stock in March. She has two new kits that also came in after that last video. This is the Spools and Bobbins Table Runner. This is so cute. I want to make this. And then Riley Blake will release the pattern as a paid pattern in 6 to 12 months. And I love the closure. And then this is the Tomato Pincushion Quilt Kit. And again, this will be available separately, and this one is layer cake friendly. So I just want to show a couple of new things, and then I'm going to talk about shipping delays and delays in general, and then answer any questions. So pop your questions in since we're almost done. So the first one I want to talk about is Sew by Row. So that is the block of the month that we put together with Lori Holt. When Lori picked the fabric, she picked 108-inch fabrics to go on the front. There has been a huge delay in Riley Blake 108s, and they keep moving the date back. We have all of the 44-inch wide here. We're just waiting for the 108, and as soon as it comes in, we're going to pick that club back up and separate it by 3 weeks in between so that you're not billed too much at once. I'm really sorry for that delay. It's just delays are in general still bad. I think they're going to stay bad. I think that also for Christmas, no matter where you shop, I think you should shop early. I'm already doing some Christmas shopping because everything that we have heard on our end is that everything is just going to be delayed like crazy. So I'm going to now answer any questions. How do I pick a quality flannel? That's kind of a hard question. Henry Glass, Moda, Free Spirit, like the holiday homing flannel is amazing. That stuff is, oh, it's delicious. And I don't even like modern stuff, and it's like so good. So I would just make sure you're shopping at a local or online store that sells like your major brands, like your higher quality brands. Do you need to wash flannel before you sew it? I don't know. I don't ever wash anything. I would probably starch it though, but I don't have very much experience with flannel. I've never quilted, and I would like a recommendation on a book for a beginner. Ooh. The brand new Rose and Bloom book would be really good. Those are kind of easier blocks, and Fat Quarter Style or Jolly Bar book. And the Jolly Bar books are on sale. That's what I would say. Kimberly, how do you decide if you should put a border on a quilt? Depends where you're going to put it. Now, I will say that the scrappy quilt that I showed, that is the scrappy Swirling Stars. I keep messing the name up. The Swirling Stars. I really wish that had a border because I have so many seams on the edge, but it would look ugly with a border. I'm just afraid about all those seams on the edge. But I just kind of decide where I'm going to put it, and I think how it would look. So on that, I really wish that had a border so that my seams wouldn't be right on that binding, but it wouldn't look good. So that's kind of how I decide, is where it's going to go and do I think it'll look good. Is the entire top flannel? Yes. That quilt kit is all flannel. Is there a way to get a Jolly Bar pattern for something other than the Jolly Bar it comes with? Can we see all the Jolly Bar patterns you have? So the Jolly Bars, that's what makes them original and exclusive to us, is we just put them in that Jolly Bar. Later we come out with books, so we have Jolly Bar 1, 2, and 3, and we'll eventually have a Jolly Bar book 4, but that's the only way to get them. Can you starch the spools ball? You'd have to look at the pattern to see if you need the full amount. So let me see. If you need the full amount of something, you cannot starch. So I would just look through the pattern. Let's see. Probably not. Yeah, I would say probably not because it's pre-cut. What size are the tins? I'll look real quick. And both of these quilts are pieced. None are appliqued. So one is 12, 13. And one is 8. So you can put 6-inch blocks and 8-inch blocks, or 6-inch, 12-inch blocks. How big is the Pedal Power quilt squares? They're pretty big. We'll have to look and see. I have the pattern, so I'll look and see. "16 inches. What type of thread does your long armor use, polyester or cotton? My sewing machine guy says I'm crazy to use cotton, but I always use cotton." I actually don't know. Gina might be in the chat, but there are special threads for long arm machines. I know she sometimes uses Glide, but I don't know. To me, I care more about the color. And there are some long arm threads that are thinner that show up less, and I prefer those. Taking a fall trip to the mountains and having a hard time coming up with handwork. Any suggestions? You could do the chicken salad applique. You could do some of Lori Holt's So Simple Shapes applique. You could do English paper piecing. You could do cross stitch. What color thread was on the RWB quilt? It blended with the white and the blue. I don't know the name of the thread. Gina Tell would know, and she's at threadgraffiti.com. We don't write down the name of the colors. What tips do you have for sewing with flannel? I don't really have that many, but I would use a longer stitch length probably. What is the best needle to use for hand sewing the binding? I use Clover Gold needles, black gold needles or something like that. So that's what I use. So guys, I had so much fun with you this Friday. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will be back next week. See you then.